The Detroit Tigers have been bad. Like really, really bad. They have arguably been the single most disappointing team in baseball this year, and today I'm going to look at their roster top to bottom, and towards the end I'm going to discuss why I think they've been so bad. Now real quick before we get into the video, if you guys do enjoy this type of content, feel free to subscribe. I post plenty of baseball content on this channel, and I'm going to continue to do so going forward. Now let's get right into the video. First, let's look at Detroit offensively. They have been the worst offensive team in baseball, as they currently have a .611 team OPS, which is last, and they also have 66 home runs, which is last. And those 66 home runs are 23 less than the 29th placed Cleveland Guardians. So as a whole, I think this is by far the worst offense in the game. Their big offseason pickup in Javier Baez has been extremely disappointing, as on the year he's hitting .224 to go along with 11 home runs. Heimer Candelario also hasn't been too great, as he's hitting .202 to go along with 10 home runs. Jonathan Schoop doesn't seem to be what he once was, as on the year he's only hitting .202 to go along with 8 home runs. Miguel Cabrera, while he has had an amazing Hall of Fame type career, is not what he once was. But when comparing him to the rest of this offense, he hasn't been too bad, as he's hitting .266 to go along with 4 bombs. Harold Castro has been relatively decent, as on the year he's hitting .283 to go along with 4 home runs. Willie Castro has been one of their best offensive options, as on the year he's hitting .246 to go along with 4 home runs and 6 stolen bases. Eric Haas hasn't been too bad from the catcher spot, as on the year he's hitting .233 to go along with 8 home runs. Spencer Torkelson, their top prospect, who was one of the top prospects in all of baseball, was clearly not ready for the big leagues. Before getting sent down to AAA, he was hitting .197 to go along with 5 home runs. Torkelson's a great player. I have no doubt in my mind he's going to come back up and be much, much better, but it was clear he was not ready this year. Riley Green, who was the top prospect in baseball before getting called up, is hitting .232 to go along with 3 home runs. He hasn't been as bad as Torkelson. In fact, I don't think he's been too bad overall, and I think as the season goes on, he's going to get more comfortable and play much better. So while they do have a bright future offensively with players like Torkelson and Green, right now there's no doubt that they're the worst offensive team in the league. Now let's take a look at Detroit's starting pitching. Considering how bad the Tigers are record-wise, their starting rotation has been pretty solid. As we stand today, they have a team ERA of 4, which ranks 19th in the league. Tarik Skubal broke through this year, where in 118 innings he had a 3.37 ERA. Unfortunately for Skubal and the Tigers, he was just diagnosed with an elbow injury and is going to be out the rest of the season and might miss the start of next season as well. Eduardo Rodriguez, another big offseason signing this year, has missed lots of time due to personal issues. When on the field, he wasn't too impressive, as in 39 innings he had a 4.38 ERA. Tyler Alexander hasn't been too bad this year, as in 49 innings he has a 3.83 ERA. Matt Manning, who has missed lots of time due to a shoulder injury in 20 innings, has a 2.25 ERA. And they also have Drew Hutchinson, who in 61 innings has a 4.45 earned run average. Now they have had some injuries to the starting rotation, as they've been without Beau Brieske, Casey Mize, and Michael Pineda for quite a while now. So like I said before, they have a team ERA of 4, which is 19th in baseball, so it's not that good, but when looking at the Tigers and how bad they've been as a team, 19th in all of baseball isn't too bad, especially considering all the injuries they've had to deal with throughout the season. Now let's take a quick look at Detroit's bullpen. This has been their strong suit, as they have a 3.22 bullpen ERA, which ranks 5th in the game. Gregory Soto has been a really reliable 9th inning option, as in 41 innings he's locked down 20 saves to go along with a 3.1 ERA and 41 strikeouts. Andrew Chafin has also been very reliable, as in 37 innings he has a 2.17 ERA. They also have some other decent arms in the bullpen in Joe Jimenez, Willie Peralta, Will Vest, and Jason Foley. So like I said before, this bullpen is clearly Detroit's strong suit. It's really been the only thing they've been good at this year. So now that we went over the Tigers as a team, I'm going to jump into why I think they've been so disappointing. The number one reason is blatantly obvious, and it's their offense. You can't expect to be even close to competitive if you have an offense like the Tigers have had this year. I mean, their best offensive bat has been maybe Harold Castro, Willie Castro, or Javier Baez, who has been labeled as a bust up to this point. They're just getting zero production from anyone offensively, and it's by far the worst offense in the league. Number 2, I think the injuries have played a big role. Specifically, their pitching rotation has been decimated by the injuries, as like I said before, they've been without Michael Pineda, Casey Mize, and Beau Brieske, and I also didn't even mention Spencer Turnbull, who's been one of the most consistent options in this rotation over the past couple of years. Now, offensively, they haven't had too many injuries, but Austin Meadows has been out for a couple months with an Achilles injury, and if he was healthy, I think he could have very well been the best offensive bat on this team. So yeah, the Tigers have been a huge letdown this year. They currently sit at 43-71, which is the third worst record in baseball, only better than the Oakland A's and Washington Nationals. And when you look at the standings, all the teams that they're pretty much surrounded by record-wise had absolutely zero expectations heading into the year. Now, obviously for the Tigers, their expectations were much higher as they picked up Eduardo Rodriguez and Javier Baez, and they were honestly expected to be close to 500. But it's just been a lost season for Detroit. They're definitely not going anywhere this year, and it looks like they're going to extend their playoff drought to 8 seasons. Let me know what you guys think of the Tigers down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.